Good evening and welcome to our Wednesday evening program. I would not use the word special anymore
Yeah.
because it has been a weekly program and we have been talking about politics and so a lot of things happen in 7 days.
Especially in the political scene and whether we will ever get a new prime minister, because there has been a lot of changes going on. Because initially we expected that tomorrow will be another joint sitting of the House and the Senate to vote on a new prime minister. Unfortunately, it has been cancelled for many reasons. But we'll begin tonight with the biggest story, and this is something that people didn't really expect it to happen, because it has been confirmed that former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, who has been living in exile for almost 2 decades, will be returning to Thailand on August 10th. Thaksin's youngest daughter, Pathongtham Shinawatra, announced on Wednesday in a Facebook post that Thaksin Shinawatra is scheduled to return to Thailand on August 10th after 17 years of self-imposed exile. The announcement was actually made on her father's 74th birthday, and we've been talking about how Thaksin has expressed his wishes that he wants to return to Thailand, and so far he has been postponing his return 19 times so far. And he has said that he will return this month so that he could celebrate his birthday with his grandchildren. He even claimed for the first time that he's ready to face the legal consequences. Thaksin was ousted in a coup in 2006, and he has since lived in self-imposed exile. And during his absence, the Supreme Court's Criminal Division for holders of political office sentenced him to a total of 12 years imprisonment in 4 cases. Pathongtham wrote that every July 26th is always an important day for her. This year, she said she could not believe it herself that her beloved father is coming home. Meanwhile, Thai authorities acknowledge that they have prepared a plan to receive Thaksin if he really does return home this time. And it is also reported that Thaksin will face a total of 12 years in prison in 3 outstanding cases if he does return to Thailand on August 10th. So this will definitely be a very big event, and people will be waiting to see what really happens. And if we remember, like a few years back when Thaksin returned for the very first time, he was seen like on the floor. Like
Some people would say he kissed the floor.
Right, it kissed the floor or prayed on the floor, however
or
people
something to the floor.
Yeah, however people interpret it, but it is seen as a symbol of being respectful of his motherland. But we're not sure whether this will ever happen this time as well.
Anyway, let's talk about those outstanding cases that will make him face 12 years in prison. The 3 and 2 digits lottery project of the government lottery office issued during his administration, in which he was found guilty of malfeasance in office and of violation of ethical conduct by Prime Minister by the Supreme Court's Criminal Division of Political Officer Holders. He was sentenced to 2 years in prison. There is another case, the granting of a 4 billion baht loan to the Myanmar government by the Exim Bank of Thailand for the purchase of equipment and services from Chin Satellite Company, in which he and his associates held the majority stake. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison without suspension by the Supreme Court. Another big case is that when he was accused of allowing nominee to hold shares in Chin Corporation on his behalf for the benefit of Advanced Info Service, or AIS for short, which was awarded the concession to operate a mobile phone service by the Telephone Organization of Thailand and DPC Company. The 2 companies are affiliated with Chin Corporation, which was then majority owned by Thaksin. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison by the Supreme Court. He was also sentenced to 2 years in prison in absentia by the Supreme Court over the Ratchada-Pisset land deal. The statute of limitations in this case has, however, since lapsed. Thaksin was acquitted in 2 other cases. The first concerns with Finance Ministry taking over the management of the financially troubled TPI company under a rehabilitation plan. The second concerns the granting of over 10 billion baht in loans by the state-run Krung Thai Bank to the Grisada Mahanakon Real Estate Company. One case is still pending against Thaksin, which concerned his government's approval for Thai Airways International to purchase a fleet of A340-500 and A340-600 aircraft, resulting in massive debt being incurred by the national flag carrier. Charges have been lodged against Thaksin, former Thai chairman Thanong Phitthaya, and former president of Thai Kanok Apiradi.
Well, there are so many cases surrounding Thaksin. That was why many of the leaders of political parties said when they were asked about whether they agree with Thaksin returning to Thailand. Some people say they agree, but he has to face all of these charges. So this is something that we have to keep all ears, because this is definitely a big event on August 10th.
He always say this is some kind of political games, but all these cases went through up to the Supreme Court already. And we were talking about when he came back to Thailand and kissed the floor, right? Kissed the ground. That was when all these cases were not final yet.
Right.
So there was still a room for him, that whether he's gonna get sentenced, it's gonna be discharged and whatnot. But right now, in legal sense, if anyone have these kind of cases with them and be in exile, if they enter the country, they should be arrested in normal sense. But we don't know what's going to happen on August 10th.
Right, things can change as well, but many people expect that police will be arresting him right at the airport. But things can change and we'll have to wait and see. And like we said earlier, we initially thought that the next parliamentary voting will be tomorrow, but it has been canceled already due to various reasons. However, the House Speaker announced just yesterday that it is canceled, but he actually took this opportunity to explain further why. So House Speaker Wan Muhammad Noor Matha has defended his order to cancel the parliamentary sitting tomorrow to select the Prime Minister, insisting that he has to wait for a ruling from the Constitutional Court on whether it will consider the petition from the Ombudsman. The Ombudsman asked the Constitutional Court to consider a petition filed by two academics challenging the constitutionality of Parliament's decision by a majority vote on July 19th to reject the renomination of Move Forward Party leader Pitha Limjaroenrat as the prime ministerial candidate. He said that he decided to cancel the sitting because he wants to avoid the potentially serious consequences which may befall the candidate were they to be selected by Parliament. He said that if the court decides to consider the petition and orders Parliament to suspend this selection process, the legislature will have to wait until there is a ruling from the court on whether the Parliament's rejection of Pitha's renomination under Rule 41 was constitutional. If the court refuses to consider the petition, however, the House Speaker said that he will order Parliament to proceed with the selection process without delay, adding that he believes the court is fully aware of the importance of the case and the urgent need for the country to have a new government. He also explained that the parliamentary meeting tomorrow would have been inconvenient for many MPs and senators who must return to their constituencies to participate in the ceremonies to commemorate the birthday of His Majesty the King. Meanwhile, as we just said, the Ombudsman decided on Monday to ask the Constitutional Court to consider a petition challenging Parliament's majority vote on July 19th to reject the Move Forward Party leader Pitha's renomination as the prime ministerial candidate. So based on our conversation last week on Rule 41, many people suggest that the lawyers and the parliamentarians should actually propose the actual decision.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I remember Dr. Jethonawanish said that they should look at Rule 36, which from that Rule 36 we can say that nominate Prime Minister, it's actually a special motion or not even a motion. So if it's a special motion or not even a motion, it shouldn't be included with the rule number 41.
Right.
And I remember the conversation that we said, oh, should they ask the lawyer or should they ask academic? And Dr. Jess, like, they should know because they're parliamentarian. Otherwise, they should just,
Resign.
yeah.
They're actually, like, the parliamentarians should actually challenge again with the decision on July 19th, because selecting a prime minister is actually an exception and is
Right.
in a different clause. So this can be an opportunity for Move Forward Party MPs to re-nominate Pitha for the next parliamentary
Well, I'm
voting.
not legal expert, but since what happened last week on the 19th, there was a lot of lawyer and academic and experts that come out and said that the ruling, the vote by the parliamentarians on Rule 41 and for the House Speaker to follow that vote result, it means that they're giving importance to that vote result more than the Constitution.
Right, because they believe that the Constitution should be way much higher than the Rule 41, because Constitution is actually the highest. And over the past weekend, Pheu Thai Party has held meetings with many parties, particularly from the conservative side, to gain support after the Move Forward Party was blocked from securing its premiership. So the Pheu Thai Party, led by its leader Cholana Srikiaw, met with several parties from the conservative wing to gain support for its prime ministerial candidate in the next voting session and informing its government. So they have met with several parties such as Phum Chai Thai Party, the United Thai Nation Party, Chhat Thai Pathana, and Chhat Pathanakla, as well as Palang Pracharat Party. And most of these parties are considered to be the conservative wing and seem to be supportive of the junta led by General Prayut Chan-o-cha as well. So many of the party leaders from the conservative wing have insisted that they will not join the coalition if the Move Forward Party is still in it, because mainly the Move Forward Party has insisted that they will make changes to the lèse-majesté law. That was why many of them decided that they will not join this coalition and will not even vote for a prime ministerial candidate that comes from this coalition as well. So to recap, we'll start with Phum Chai Thai Party leader Anutin Charnvirakul, who insisted that he cannot join the coalition if the Move Forward Party is still in that group. Anutin actually said several times since the elections that Phum Chai Thai will not work nor support the Move Forward Party. However, he explained on Saturday that it's not only because of the Move Forward stance to amend the lèse-majesté law, but it's also their ways of working that are completely different to Phum Chai Thai Party. So let's have a listen to what he had to say.
เราไม่ได้อยู่ใน MOU ของ 8 พรรคเรียนให้ท่านหัวหน้าได้ทราบว่าถ้าเราจะเข้ามามีส่วนร่วมใดๆเนี่ยก็คงจะไม่สามารถที่จะทำงานได้นะครับถ้าในการร่วมเนี่ยยังมีพรรคก้าวไกลอยู่ก็เลยต้องกราบเรียนท่านไว้ไม่ใช่เป็นเรื่องของความขัดแย้งใดๆแต่ว่าเป็นเรื่องของการแนวทางการทำงานในเรื่องของความคิดในเรื่องของวิธีการทำงานนะครับ
Now, United Thai Nation Party, led by Phiraphant Sariratthawipak, also rejects the Move Forward Party as well as its proposal to amend the lèse-majesté law. Phiraphant also said that they did not discuss joining its coalition to form the government, but rather to explain the party's standpoint. Meanwhile, Chhat Pathanakla Party said that they can still join the coalition if the Move Forward Party is willing to drop its plan to amend the lèse-majesté law. Acting party leader Suwat Lipataphalop said that the party believes in Pheu Thai Party to lead the government. The party also agrees with most of their policies except for lèse-majesté law because Chhat Pathanakla does not want to make changes to the law.
สำหรับนโยบายในเรื่องของการแก้ไขมาตรา 112 ของพรรคก้าวไกลนั้นถ้ายังคงอยู่ก็อาจจะไม่สอดคล้องกับแนวทางของพรรคชาติพัฒนากล้าที่ได้ประกาศไว้ต่อสาธารณชนและไม่ตรงกับมติพรรคของพรรคชาติพัฒนากล้าพรรคชาติพัฒนากล้าก็ไม่สามารถในการที่จะเข้าร่วมจัดตั้งรัฐบาลภายใต้การนำของพรรคเพื่อไทยได้
Meanwhile, Cha Thai Patana Party leader Warawut Silapa Asha also said that they're willing to support the Pheu Thai coalition as long as they do not seek amendments of the lèse majesté law.
คือจริงๆเราไม่ได้คือพรรคชาติไทยพัฒนาเราไม่ได้จะเลือกที่รักมักที่ชังพรรคนั้นพรรคนี้นะครับเราเพียงแค่บอกว่าถ้าทุกพรรคที่ทำงานร่วมกันแล้วมีในเรียกว่าทัศนคติแล้วก็มีแนวนโยบายไปในทิศทางเดียวกัน
Meanwhile, Move For Party leader Pitha Limcharoenrat held a rally in Pattaya of Chonburi province despite the heavy rainfall, stating that the results during the first joint sitting of the House and Senate and the Charter Court's decision to suspend his MP duties is equal to disrespecting the people's votes. He also said that the party will not tolerate whoever kicks him out of the coalition.
ใครจะถีบผมออกจากเรือผมไม่รู้ผมบอกอย่างเดียวว่าผมไม่ยอมถ้าเรือมันรั่วก็ต้องช่วยกันอุดรูช่วยกันซ่อมไม่ใช่มาถีบเพื่อนออกจากเรือและไม่ถีบประชาชนออกจากเรือด้วย
So many of the parties have made themselves clear that they will not join forces with the coalition if the Move For Party is still in it, mainly because of the Move For Party stance in making changes to Section 112, which is something that many of these parties do not agree with.
All this talk happened over the weekend. Saturday started off with Phum Chai Thai Party went to Pheu Thai headquarters. And the picture they took together was like trending in social media. The picture of drinking chocolate mint drink and like smiling to each other, look super happy and merry. And I would say it upset Move Forward supporters so much. Not just Move Forward supporter, it's upset Pheu Thai supporter as well because they believe that they should try to stay with the coalition.
Yes, exactly. So they were hoping that Pheu Thai Party would keep its promise that was made by the Move For Party to stick together within the 8-party coalition. But there have been a lot of speculations before that Pheu Thai might join forces with conservative parties instead. And with such meetings, it has reinforced that idea that they might break away from the coalition. But even though some of the party leaders said that they're just discussing, they're not being invited to join the coalition, and they're just explaining their standpoint that these are the conditions if they're going to join the coalition, but it still upsets people.
Yeah, I mean, like for them, it's being politician is profession, and they can just talk to each other. But for the cheerleading crowd, the supporters, I can say that sometimes they don't talk to each other if they're on a different camp of the politics. So for the politician themselves, it's different from the people on the street. The feeling are totally different.
Right, because if we remember, there has been like a specific shot where some of the protesters just broke into the Pheu Thai headquarters, throwing like a bag of flour onto people, especially from, I believe, someone from the...
That happened on Sunday when Pheu Thai Party was having a conversation from one of the parties from conservative camp. And I believe the people that tried to get in there was supporters of Move Forward Party and also a group that called themselves Tha Luk Wang, which is a supporter of the amendment of lèse majesté law. They just show their dissatisfaction to Pheu Thai Party that have been having all these conversations. They said they just have conversation, but they show dissatisfaction that they don't like it the way Pheu Thai is doing it.
Exactly, because what Pheu Thai is doing is actually seen as a betrayal of Move For Party. And not to mention, speaking of Pheu Thai and Move Forward and the Mint Chocolate Party, Mint Chocolate has been heavily politicized since the elections.
I feel bad for the drink.
Yeah, exactly, especially mint chocolate lovers. And some people were like, what does mint chocolate have to do with politics?
Right.
Because like when we think of mint chocolate, they automatically think of Pheu Thai Party, whilst the iced Americano with orange juice, they would think of Move Forward Party.
It's something it's sell in the coffee shop of the headquarters of each parties, and they try to make some kind of symbolic gesture. You come to Pheu Thai, you welcome people with this chocolate mint chocolate drink and whatnot.
Yep.
You go to Move Forward, you have to drink coffee with the
Orange
orange juice
juice.
because Move Forward color is orange and all that. But it become, like you said, very politicized, and it's get to the point that some people like, oh, I'm just gonna drink only coffee with orange juice now. Or someone's like, I cannot take this chocolate mint anymore. or
Right,
whatever.
and some cafes even went as far as canceling the mint chocolate drinks off their menu because they want to express their disappointment of the way Pheu Thai Party is dealing with the conservative parties. And most of the parties, like we said before, are mostly supportive of General Prayut and the coup.
Whoever said before this election that the election will make the political atmosphere or temperature in Thailand better, they are totally wrong. I think it's getting worse.
Like everything is heavily politicized, even not just the drinks. Like, frankly speaking, mint chocolate and coffee with orange juice are heavily politicized right now. Even the colors of people's shirts can be politicized as well, because if you see someone wearing red, people will say, oh, you must be a supporter of Pheu Thai Party. Oh, you're wearing orange. That means you're a supporter of Move Forward Party. Oh, you're wearing yellow. That means you must be a heavy royalist. This is something that people are quick to criticize. So that pretty shows that people seems to politicize everything, even for things that we may not even think about.
I would start having so much problem if any political party start to branded some earth tone to be their own color.
Oh gosh. This is going to be even more complicated. And if we're going to politicize everything, like, okay, what I'm wearing now is actually bright pink.
And it's actually, I
Yeah.
think, Chha Pathana
Yeah,
party
and
color,
if
right?
people are going to politicize it, people would say, oh, that means I must be a supporter of Warawut Silapa Achai and his party, when in fact, it's not really the case. You can say something else. It could be because the Barbie movie is in theaters already. We can say that too.
True. Anyway, back to the what's happening in happening in politics itself. So over the weekend, other parties come out and say, okay, they would not join Move Forward Party because of this and this and that. Move Forward itself also said that they will not join coalition with United Thai Nation and also Palang Pracharat as well. Move Forward Party said that they will not join any government with these two parties for many reasons, one of which is because their leaders led the last coup. The party reached the decision during the virtual meeting with their member parliaments to discuss the current political situation and its position on joining a government. The party claimed that United Thai Nation's former core member, Prayut Chan-o-cha, and Palang Pracharat's leader, Prawit Wongsuwan, led the coup in 2014 and intended to remain in power long enough to pass the 2017 constitution. Prayut recently announced that he is quitting politics and has resigned from the United Thai Nation Party. The results of the May general election, which saw Move Forward win more House seats than any other party, followed by Pheu Thai, clearly show that the people want something different. The eight-party coalition they formed after the election has a combine of 312 House seats and garnered 27 million votes. However, Move Forward withdrew from forming the government after the leader Pitha Limjaroenrat as the prime ministerial candidate did not gain enough parliamentary votes. It later passed the task of forming the government to Pheu Thai, the runner-up in the election. There's a little bit of quote here and there coming up though. Like one of the Pheu Thai party member of parliament said, oh, if you count all other parties together, the vote is more than just
Move Forward.
Move Forward or Pheu Thai alone. It's like if they call all the vote for conservative camp, it would be much more than just Move Forward alone or Pheu Thai alone. But that's not how it works, isn't it? It's like number one most voted, number two most voted, and then you're gonna say 2, 3, 4, 5 altogether actually bigger than number one, and that's the winner. That it's just so weird.
Doesn't make sense to begin with, because normally in politics we would see like two completely different sides, the conservative camp and the liberal camp. We don't really see conservatives and liberals together. So this is something that confuses people as well, especially with Pheu Thai's standpoint as to what they're going to do from now on. And this has caused a lot of frustration for many of the sectors, especially the business sector, because they felt that the political situation, especially the fact that the government has not been formed, has caused much insecurity for most of the foreign investors as well as the business sectors in Thailand as well. So leaders of Thailand's private sector are urging the speedy formation of the government, insisting that the country, especially on the Thai economy, cannot afford to wait up to 10 months. Kriengrai Tianukul, the chairman of the Federation of Thai Industry, said today that the private sector had set August as the acceptable deadline for a new government to be formed and to begin implementing policies to stimulate the economy. Failing that, the economy will suffer and production costs will increase. He also admitted that he cannot assess the extent of the damage to the economy if the formation of the new government is further delayed by up to 10 months as proposed by some parties. He also pointed out that the outcome of the May elections should reflect the wishes of the majority of the people about the government to which they aspire, adding that he hopes political conflicts can be resolved amicably. Chaiwat Khowai Wisarat, the group CEO and president of Bangchak Group, said formation of the new government should not drag on by up to 10 months, which is way too long and will hurt private businesses as a whole. Personally, he said he does not want to speculate about when the government will be formed, noting that new political elements are emerging on a daily basis. He said he would like the new government or the incumbent caretaker government to take care of fuel prices and maintain a balance between the interests of oil producers and their consumers. Meanwhile, Wisit Limlucha, the vice chairman of the Thai Chamber of Commerce, said that he hopes the formation of the new government will not drag on for up to 10 months, warning that the longer the period, the more damage will be inflicted upon the national economy. He also pointed out that foreign investors are delaying their investment plans as they wait for the political uncertainty to clear up, adding, however, that he is afraid that some of these investors may move their investments to other countries, which means that we may lose hundreds of billions in investment funding, which could cut the Thai GDP by 1 to 2%. And meanwhile, several of the business leaders in Thailand are expressing concern about the political instability as well. And like we said, the new government has not been formed yet, and it has been about 2-3 months already.
And if you wonder why they mentioned 10 months waiting period, it's because the provision about the senator that enable them to vote for the prime minister actually will end in May, which is another 10 months. There was this idea floating around, or should we just wait for 10 months until senator out of power to vote and then we renominate Pitha again? That's the idea. Somebody said, oh, we can wait. We have been waiting for a long time. We can wait another 10 months. But business sector will think otherwise.
Yeah.
Yes, I think 10 months is a really long length for business sector. Of course, for political or politician, they could wait for another 10 months. But for business, they couldn't. So actually, I talked to some business leaders from MCHAM, from European Chamber, and of course, Stanley Kong, the former chairman of Joint Foreign Chamber of Commerce. He told me that actually the government should be formed in 1 month. That's the deadline for them, actually. So 2 months after the election, it remains unclear who will become the country's 30th prime minister, since the bicameral parliament empowers senators to join the vote for the prime minister. The current political turmoil is affecting foreign investor decisions over put more money into Thailand. The Stanley Khan also emphasized the need to have a clearer picture as soon as possible. Yesterday, actually, I talked to Stanley Khan, and he told Thai PBS as well that the business community cannot wait endlessly. "Quote unquote, each party should put the interests of Thailand and Thai citizens ahead of party interests. The private sector expects to see the next government being formed in a month, since issues regarding Thailand's economy, geopolitics need to be solved promptly. No matter which party becomes the ruling party, the private sector is ready to cooperate." And according to European Chamber, the president of European Association for Business and Commerce, Mr. Farid Bigoli, stated that political stability is the significant factor in maintaining sustainable cooperation between EU and Thailand. This point is really important because actually the EU-Thailand FTA just initiated to talk about it in March this year. And actually July this month, EU delegation, they came to Thailand to talk. In September, will be the first round talk in EU.
This free trade agreement has been ongoing for probably 10 years already. Since like I was a field reporter and I interviewed one of the EU representatives many years back and was talking about how important it is to have free trade agreement between European Union and Thailand and whatnot. And then it stopped when we have a coup, because for European country and for Western country, their policy is not talking to the authoritarian government, or if you have a coup and junta government, they don't talk to them.
It seems like the European do not like to talk to the authoritarian government to begin with. So many people have said that since there's an election, that it has brought a lot of hope for investors as well.
Right.
And it's not just FTA, actually, it's about the domestic issue that the next government should deal with. So actually, AmCham President Ms. Pipumtham, she always also talk about the electricity cost, the lack of labor force, the high household debt, because she mentioned the high household debt right now is 90% of households.
Yeah.
So actually, the next government should promptly take over this task and deal with it immediately.
Of course, we have a caretaking government, but there is some certain limitation of what they can and cannot do. So the real government would be better.
Yep.
But when?
Not 10 months. Like 10 months is way too long. So like you said, many of the business leaders want the new government to be formed at least by 1 month.
Yes. 1 month is the deadline for business.
Do they say the 1 month after the election, because that's already passed?
No, maybe.
No, it's
This is like over 2 months after the election.
Yeah, because
already.
we have the election on 14th May.
Right,
That's
and
already
this is
2
like 26th of July, so it's
Yeah.
over 2 months already.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
But we still have to think positively, right? Maybe next month we will have the new government coming up to take over all the tasks.
Seems like a lot
Yep.
of people pin hope on that, such as Thaksin coming back on August 10.
Right, but then things can change as well, right?
Then he might not come back on August 10.
Or there's still something that we might have to watch out for is the decision as to whether the parliament decision on July 19 was actually constitutional. Because if it's not, then that means they can renominate Pita Limjaroenrat again as the prime ministerial candidate. So that can be another source of hope as well. But
And I
then
think Constitutional Court will consider next week whether to take up this petition.
Yeah, because this petition was accepted by the Office of Ombudsman
Yes.
this week. So as what you said, of course, next week.
Yeah, timeline is kind of lengthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, at first we expected the government to be formed by this August, but then if there are still many hurdles, then this will be extended, and this is going to cause more problems for the investors as well.
Yeah, not just in business sector, in politics, of course, in the society too.
Exactly.
Okay, so, but we will come back to see you every week on politics, of course, and for any other things, you can just check our website, www.thaipbsworld.com. We have Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, what else?
Threads as well.
Thread
Threads.
and Twitter as well. So whatever platforms you feel comfortable with, just go in there, some content we have in some platforms not going to appear in others. So, just check everywhere.
All right, so just follow us on social media and our website, thaipbsworld.com, for all the latest updates about Thailand, including Thailand politics and analyses as well. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. สวัสดีค่ะ